In the world of competitive fighting games, we like to throw around the words GOAT and legend rather frivolously. But what does it really mean for a player to embody such a status? And how do you know when you're witnessing the formation of a legend before your very eyes? What am I talking about? I'm of course talking about EVO Vegas, which just happened last weekend, where competitors from all over the world gathered under one roof for a weekend to figure out who is the best of the best in their respective titles. Now, EVO does have a multiple number of events this year, and they're continuing to add on to their roster. We just had EVO Japan a few months ago, and EVO Nice coming up. But as of today, as of this recording, EVO Vegas is still considered by many to be the Super Bowl event for fighting games. And over this weekend, we saw a lot of legends reassert their dominance and status in their respective titles. We, of course, had Sonic Fox with their impressive 8th EVO title in MK1, showing that they cannot be stopped when it comes to the NRS games. We then, of course, had Arslan Ash, who added his 6th EVO title, if you combine the EVO Japan and EVO Vegas titles, in Tekken 8, which is absolutely ridiculous. Him and Atif had a run back of last year's EVO Vegas Grand Finals, and Arslan came out on top once again. We also had Goichi, the Poverty King champion, now making bank in City of the Wolves. He just came off of his victory over at the Esports World Cup for City of the Wolves, and he went on to become the EVO champion for that title as well. But not before, of course, he unfortunately took the soul of one poor KojiKog here, which went rather viral. I swear to God, I'm not making fun of this dude, but no one has ever looked like they suffered like this in human history. KojiKog suffering a defeat here from Goichi in top 8 of City of the Wolves.
I have ever seen defensively. Goichi like, yo, my bad, bro. My bad.
He's like, wow, did I really kind of hurt his feelings there. Oh, man.
Oh, my Lord.
He is going through it.
KOG, always a character. Very emotive guy, this one.
The despair. Oh, it's still going. It's still going.
Dude. He put it all
Goichi, should I comfort him? Do I go for the handshake? Nope. Was that me? Did I do that? And just to give context, this was in the winner's bracket. KojiKog was not even eliminated here. He still had another shot in losers, and this is kind of like the viral moment from this tournament. And for context, this is actually from them going at it in Aquapaza. These two are kings of poverty anime games. This is a run back from EVO 2015. KojiKog showing his despair there after Goichi takes the victory as well at Anime EVO over a decade ago at this point. So these two have been going at it, and no longer poverty, right? They're doing it big in titles with lots of money on the line these days. But of course, you here on this channel are here for the Street Fighter 6 action to see who will be crowned the EVO champion for the main Street Fighter title. With over 4,000 competitors in this tournament, this actually has less entrants than EVO Japan, but I still think to this day, culturally, EVO Vegas is considered the big one. We'll see if that changes in time. But they had this fantastic intro video highlighting the season, highlighting the regions and players leading up to this event, because there was a lot of build up to this season to see who would come out on top. And as we get on into the action, you know, people were thinking, will it be a repeat victory? Will Punk the God, the reigning EVO 2024 Vegas champion, be able to repeat and do what had never been done before, being the first American to win a modern mainline Street Fighter EVO title? Could he repeat that feat this time? Of course, we're also looking at players like Kakeru, who is finally back to competing after winning Capcom Cup, winning the $1 million. He's been to EVO Japan Grand Finals, been to EVO Vegas Top 8. He hadn't been participating in the tour up till this point, skipped out on Combo Breaker CEO and Blink Respawn because he was already qualified, but he's back in action at this event. Of course, people are looking at MenaRD, fresh off his 2nd EVO Japan victory, looking to make history and finally add an EVO Vegas title potentially to his ever-growing resume. And then, of course, I think all eyes were on Leshar going into this as well, who just won back-to-back premier titles, something that had not been done yet in Street Fighter 6. Also in part due to the tour format being only auto qualifiers and people not really signing up for multiple events due to the lack of point system. But also due to the fact that there's so much competition in the world of Street Fighter that this level of consistency had not been yet established. But Leshar was looking to make history to take the big 3, Combo Breaker CEO and EVO all in a row. And then, of course, we also have Fuudo fresh off his Blink respawn victory, where he made the most clutch comebacks I've seen to date in Street Fighter 6 to show he is of that elite caliber, and looking to make his second EVO championship run at this tournament. But as we go on to day one for the tournament, usually on day one, a lot of the pools are rather filled with more casual competitive players who are maybe entering their first tournament. So it tends to be rather chill the first day, with occasionally some top players going at it, and a lot of mixed matched pools where usually there's one shark in a pool of first-time competitors. And here we see that personified here. Squad Vermilion going up against Enly with his Luke, finds the whiff punish here, gets the combo conversion into the corner, level 2 activated. He's going to need one more interaction to actually close out this round. So what does he do on the Oki? I love the strained Y from Sage Aim there. Y indeed, just rude with that one, just making a statement. The walk-up DP is good, though. It beats literally everything besides block, so it can get the job done in a last interaction situation. But yeah, you see a lot of matches sort of along that line on day one. But here we also had an interesting one where Momochi was flexing on the competition here. Double perfect parry on J Blue's OD Fireball with this Terry into the Dream combo conversion. That is not easy to do. And the perfect corner variation he gets into the safe jump pressure. And, it's just a lot of top players flexing on the competition. But shout out to J Blue. He got around on the GOAT here. Momochi gets the full micro walk combo as well. Gonna get the level 2 extension. And Momochi just showing that he came prepared to play. He wasn't happy with going out to Fuudo, losing out on his Capcom Cup qualification at Blink Respawn. And he wants to get the job done here at EVO. He's going to go ahead and close out with the jump back light kick. And yeah, the players are here to play. But it wasn't only just top players beating up on hopeful competitors trying to make a splash at EVO. Some of those hopeful competitors did indeed make that splash. Here we have Tokido up against Smooth King over in round 1 of pools. Smooth King with his DJ and a North American DJ player. On set point, finds the anti after the fireball and the throw, and Tokido is in losers. Round 1 of EVO. Probably the biggest upset of the entire event. And that is a long road to make it into top 8 if you want to do it from round 1 losers. So shout outs to Smooth Moves for making that big upset right there. But as we move on, we get into day 2 where we're quickly escalating the stakes and the heavy hitters are going at it real fast. Here we have Spaceboy up against Kakeru. Spaceboy is actually at set point over the Capcom Cup champion, but goes for the DI. He needed about, one basic jab conversion to a level 1. Probably would have done it, but the DI gets countered. Spaceboy burns himself out. Amnesia on the throw attempt, and this is going to be a bad spot for Spaceboy to be in. The air-to-air option from Kakeru finds the spike, and man, he was so close to taking out Kakeru there, and goes to the final round. Here we have Spaceboy burnt out on the right half of the screen, has level 2, tries to go through the spikes, but no, it was not the Flamestock enhanced version, so it has limited invincibility. So Spaceboy actually ends up eating that spike into the chip sequence, spike into level 3, and Spaceboy so close to taking out the Capcom Cup champion, but unable to get the job done. Kakeru, he's sweating a little, but moves on in winner's side out of round 2. And here we have 2 sweats going at it. Boost Lee and Blaz, I think 2 of the biggest players on the come up right now in the Street Fighter 6 scene. Blaz, of course, second place at Capcom Cup. Boost Lee looking to have his big offline performance after winning his World Warrior NA East over players like Punk just the week prior, and having some good kind of sleeper runs at CEO and Combo Breaker, taking out players like Momochi off stream. Boost Lee here is at set point against Blaz, both in burnout though. He needs one more strong interaction, a level 3, and then a conversion. Level 1 bust out from Blaz. Goes for the meaty level 1. There's no other option besides level 3 to get through that, and the level 1 to punish again. The triple level 1 play. The last one just for the fan service on that one. But that was a really flashy moment. That was definitely guaranteed checkmate here, so this level 1 was going to chip. The only way once he was in that situation for Boost to get out of that was to level 3 with the invincibility to escape, but that's just punishable. You have to hope Blas makes a mistake, essentially. So a little bit of flair there on that one. And unfortunately for Boost, Blas does end up making the comeback here and taking the set and moving on in winners, and Boost has to fight out in losers side instead. And on to round 3, where we have potential Capcom Cup qualifiers, champions, premier winners going at it. We have Kawano up against Dual Kevin. Dual Kevin, one of the strongest out of NA. Final round between him and Kawano, the Street Fighter League world champion. One of the strongest players in the scene, and also the EVO 2022 Street Fighter 5 champion. Finds the bait on the DP and the full combo conversion. No drops like we saw from Dual Kevin at Blink Respawn, and jumping in the air, stomping the ground with the pop-off. Dual Kevin takes the set and moves on over one of Japan's finest. Of course, he gives props in the end, hype for his own performance, but always a good sportsman in the end. Dual Kevin takes that one over Kawano. And as things wind down in the brackets, we have tons of heavy hitters going at it. Shoutouts to Shine for making a deep run into the winner's side here, losing to Kakeru 2-0. Angry Bird ends up taking out... sorry, I got that backwards. Punk ends up taking out Angry Bird, by the way, which was considered to be one of Punk's worst matchups. Even though they haven't played that often, there's always speculation that Punk is unable to beat Angry Bird. It gets it done this time before dropping to Fuudo into the losers bracket. MenaRD stops Dual Kevin's run also and takes it over Torimeshi to get into the winner side top 8. Leshar and Phenom. Phenom making the sleeper run of the year. I feel like Phenom is always a player that he wins so unspectacularly. It's just pure fundamental gameplay the entire time. Nothing fancy about it. Just straight neutral fundamentals and solid risk-reward gameplay. And he ends up taking it over Leshar, many people's favorite, my favorite to win as well after his performances at Combo Breaker and CEO, and takes it over Momochi as well to get into the winner's side top 8. But into the loser's side, it's the showdown between the EVO 2024 champion and the favorite to win it all, Leshar up against Punk. Level 2 on the anti-air final round between these two players. Leshar trying to survive the burnout. He blocks the sweep. DP on the dive kick attempt. Shimmy mid-screen, no bite from Punk. Double heavy punch, getting the drive gauge attack does Leshar. Punk, no super, low drive gauge, finds the whip punish, gets the back throw. Oh, but the drive rush interrupts the spin knuckle, and Leshar finds the interruption, converts, and the reigning EVO champion is eliminated at 9th place, and Leshar moves on. Punk had a great run, but in the end, he ends up losing to both Fuudo and Leshar, the last two premier winners. Leshar winning CEO and Combo Breaker, and Fuudo winning Blink Respawn. So definitely no shame in that. It took the other champs of this season to take him out, but Punk is going down in 9th place. So no repeat performance here. But if you go to the losers top 64 bracket here, you can see just killer after killer going at it. Shout out to my boy Dual Kevin. He ends up going up 2-1 over Machabo after losing to MenaRD before dropping to Xiao Hai. Xiao Hai goes on to qualify as well over Itabashi Zangief. Momochi and Angry Bird have the run back again from EVO. This time Angry Bird takes it 2-0 over Momochi, moving on for another EVO top 8 appearance. And then who is this down here in the bottom? Micky, making the run of a lifetime over players like VX Bao, Taco, Shine, Anywalker, Torimeshi. We'll have to get into that shortly, but that rounds up our top 8. And here we have the qualifiers into this top 8. Kakeru, with his wins over Spaceboy, Squall, Goichi, and Shine, and Itabashi Zangief, got in after some close calls, especially against Spaceboy and Goichi and Itabashi Zangief, but manages to secure his winner side top 8 appearance, proving that Capcom Cup victory was no fluke. He's still in top form and ready to play in this tournament. Fuudo getting his big wins over players like Riddles, Juicy Joe, the 5th place Capcom Cup finisher with JP, Yamaguchi out of Japan, who I feel like he's always gatekeeping Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi was in the winners side of the regional finals, or was in the regional finals for 2023 season in the DJ mirror up against Fuudo, who Fuudo then gate kept him from Capcom Cup, and then also taking it over Punk, the reigning champ, to get his top 8 winner side appearance. Phenom over here beating Eli the Curry, John Takeuchi, Haitani, Ryusei, Leshar, and Momochi. What a monster of a run. Phenom out of Norway with his Kami, pure fundamentals, and winner side top 8 for his first ever EVO top 8 appearance. Phenom has always been one of the strongest players in this scene, and I feel like he doesn't have the most stage presence or clout. Most people know Phenom for shit posting about trolling about Ken being weak, even though he doesn't even play Ken. So he has a very dry, sarcastic sense of humor that tends to rage bait a lot more casual audiences. But he don't get it twisted. Phenom has been nice for a long time. You don't command grab Daigo 5 times in a row with Nikali without being that good. And of course, his legendary Capcom Cup 2019 third place finish with Nikali taking it over Tokido in the end. Super hype in that tournament, and back here for the first time in EVO top 8. And then of course we have MenaRD, the reigning EVO Japan champion, back-to-back EVO Japan champion, back in top 8 for EVO Vegas. He had his second place finish at EVO Vegas 2023, fell at around, I believe, 17th place in EVO 2024 in Vegas, but this time no drops in sets to him, going up against players like Kusanagi, Moke, Dual Kevin, and Torimeshi, getting the job done with another winner side top 8 appearance. On to the loser side, we have Xiao Hai bouncing back here, juggling 2 games. He actually did not make top 8 for City of the Wolves. He just got second in Esports World Cup in City of the Wolves to Goichi, which is crazy because he won that event, Esports World Cup, for Street Fighter 6 the year before. So he's doing his thing, juggling multiple games, and is actually in top 8 for Street Fighter 6. He ends up taking wins over Noah, the Prodigy, Dogura, dropped to Torimeshi in top 96 before eliminating Shuto, Dual Kevin, and Itabashi Zangief. Then we have, of course, Leshar. Like I said, many people's favorites to take the whole thing. Took sets over Young, Goki, Eguto, Aqua out of Japan with his JP, VX Bao, Capcom Cup, consistent Capcom Cup qualifier, and top level player with Bison. Lost to Phenom. What a crazy run from Phenom, by the way. Did I even mention that Phenom beat Leshar? Yeah, remember, 2 over Leshar. That's nuts. And then also, once in losers, he took out DCQ, Pugera, and Punk. No easy path to these top 8s. You're going through the gauntlet of world champion players, and Leshar is no exception, makes his loser side top 8 appearance. And of course, Angry Bird, who I believe is the only player to have made top 8 every single year for Street Fighter 6. Of course, he won in 2023. He is the 2023 EVO champion. I believe he got 8th place in 2024, which unfortunately did not make it to the stage because they did top 6 for those years for some reason. Thank goodness we're back to top 8. But now he's back on the main stage in top 8 on loser's side, taking out Filipino Man, Yugang, Tony Shua, losing to Punk before going on a run over Moke, Yamaguchi, and Momochi to make top 8. And then, of course, we have Micky, and a top 8 full of consistent, established legends of the Street Fighter scene who have been competing at the highest level for many years and have tons of accolades under their belts. We have Micky. And no, the baby face isn't there to confuse you. He is around 16 or 17 years old, under the age of 18, in EVO top 8. And more interesting than just the fact that he's this young and playing at this level, look at the run he went on. He lost to Shine out of North America with his Kimberly in round 2 of pools 0-2. Round 2 pools going to losers means you have to win a lot of games to make it into top 8. He then wins over JP King, Smooth King, the DJ who upset Tokido, Adrian Riven, one of the best Ken players in North America, Hope, VX Bao, Taco, gets the run back versus Shine, the man who sent him to losers in top 24, then took out Ending Walker 2-0, and then Torimeshi to qualify in top 8. And he did it in his style, which included a lot of Cammy Hooligan. And his reads, his reactions, his situational awareness was very strange. I have never seen a Cammy like this. I mentioned how Phenom was the embodiment and fundamentals and solid gameplay. Micky had that plus the sauce in droves, buckets of sauce. It was just ridiculous the way he used these moves. And Hooligan is supposed to be a bad move, but we might get into a little bit of how he utilizes that Hooligan to throw these top level competitors off guard. And you might be wondering, did this kid just come out of nowhere to place this high? Well, he's actually been on the grind since 2023. So you can see it with his Liquipedia results here. He has been competing heavily in the Hong Kong region, and he even managed to get second in the Asia East regional final, which is, if he got first there, he would have qualified into Capcom Cup. but you know, we had Hot Dog take that qualification spot instead. And so he's been to the offline premieres like EVO Japan, he got 33rd, CPT 2024 in Singapore, he got top 32. So he's made attempts at these big tier 1 events to go the distance, but this weekend was when he was on fire, and he ends up at 16 or 17 years old securing his top 8 spot at EVO Vegas. Thus, rounding out the bracket, we have Kakeru versus Fuudo, MenaRD versus Phenom, Xiaohai versus Leshar, and Micky versus Angry Bird. A top 8 full of legends and a bright young new face attempting to go the distance for glory. And with that, we're off to our first set in the winner's side of top 8. We have Kakeru versus Fuudo. Fuudo fresh off his win from Blink Respawn, but Kakeru here on set point gets a perfect parry, baits out the reversal on the side swap, gets the optimized punish. Here's going to go ahead and capitalize into the level 3. Chip is going to be a factor here. Fuudo does have the resources to make up this deficit. He can level 2 through a projectile sequence, but he's going to have to navigate this, and you know, with JP, you know how JP does. It's looking long for man here, and the preemptive jump back air to air. Fuudo trying to escape the portal spike mix and chip option, ends up falling to Kakeru 3-1, and Kakeru finds himself in winners finals of EVO Vegas. Meanwhile, on the other side of the winner side of top 8, we have MenaRD up against Phenom, and Phenom, after getting a strong first game, faces the wrath of MenaRD the Bull as he goes up too strong and is here on set point. Just one small light combo away from being put into losers. He goes for the hooligan and ends up eating the jump back. The reaction from MenaRD, this was really surprising to see. Like I mentioned before, Phenom, he's not really the hooligan type, but the way MenaRD played this entire set, he shut down his approach in neutral. Felt like he had to go for something surprise. That hooligan could have gone for the grab into level 3, which is what he went for, kind of the okie doke option to close it out. But MenaRD, solid as ever, wins it 3-1 over Phenom. Also moving on to winners finals up against Kakeru, a potential EVO Japan run back. Meanwhile, interesting things are happening in the losers bracket. We have Leshar up against Xiaohai, and you would expect Terry and Ed, Leshar using mostly Terry this whole bracket, and then the stare down from Xiaohai here is like, wait a minute, you went Mai? So Leshar does end up selecting the Mai mirror up against Xiaohai here, who's been playing almost exclusively Mai the entire tournament. And it doesn't work out. Leshar does lose that Mai mirror, forced back to the ad after going down 2-0. After switching to the ad, he does win a game and is on the verge of tying it up in this game here. Finds the whiff punish, confirm into the level 2, and he's going for it. It was the delay cancel. He's going for the Shin Dream combo, arguably the hardest combo of the game. A delay cancel into the super to frame perfect micro juggle walk, juggles with the micro walks into the empty jump here. Confirm into the full combo, and he ties it up. I have to reiterate how insanely difficult this combo is. You know, the Shin Dream combo, you have to do a frame perfect cancel into the level 2 from the OD Blitz. If you cancel too early, it's over, and if you cancel too late, well, it just doesn't activate. You miss the cancel entirely. Then this next Blitz is a manual delay as well to get them to pull out of the actual orb. Then a delay DP without any micro walk. You have to buffer the input motions and then release to neutral and then press heavy punch. It's very precise. So this is much harder than the typical Dream combo variations. This is the hardest one in the game, and it's significantly harder. Going for that on EVO top 8 on this stage is nuts, and it lets him set up the empty jump into the mix to tie up the set to bring it back to Xiaohai, and is now 2-2 Xiaohai versus Leshar in losers round 1 of top 8. But here we have Xiaohai on set point. Leshar needs to get this round to stay alive in the set. He's in burnout. Chip is going to be a factor in the situation. 3 stocks on the side of Xiaohai, finding the counter hit pokes. Leshar is going to confirm from the standing medium kick into flicker into the CA. That's going to let him recover his drive gauge and put Xiaohai in a precarious situation because he's going to be burnt out now instead, but he does have 2 bars of super to Xiaohai, and Leshar tested Xiaohai's reactions. One of the players known most in the world for his top level reactions, and Leshar banked his EVO tournament life on the committal DI to secure the stun. I think he was feeling the momentum from nearly being eliminated multiple times and actually making this crazy comeback to even make this a possibility. And Xiaohai also had the flame stocks level 2, which meant zoning was going to be nigh impossible against Mai's level 2, which goes like nearly full screen with the flame stock. So he just went for it, and Xiaohai, man, he's ready. He's been here many times before. He knows how to react super. And Leshar, many people's favorite, my favorite to take the tournament, the combo breaker and CEO back-to-back champion, has been eliminated at 7th place, falling to Xiaohai. But of course, the action doesn't stop there. We have a clash of generations, almost, I want to say. Angry Bird, the EVO 2023 champion, and the only player to be in all 3 top 8s, going up against Micky out of Hong Kong. And here we are in the first round, just to get a taste of that. Did you see what just happened there? This is the first round of this set. Let's slow this down to show you what's going on. So after Micky lands this conversion to push Angry Bird into the corner, once he gets Angry Bird in this situation, Angry Bird knows that Micky is in burnout, so oftentimes wake up drive reversal is safe against people in burnout, because when they block it, it'll only be -2, so it's a safe option to go for. In this situation, you can see here, Micky goes for his meaty pressure. He does press a button. You can see just barely in the bottom right corner, he's doing a crouching light kick. But as soon as the crouching light kick recovers, a level 1 comes out. This is an option select. You can, if you have a light that chains, you can meaty with that light, input super in between, then press the second light in the chain. If they block the first light, your super input is ignored and your second chain comes out, because crouching light kick is not super cancelable. It won't cancel to the super. But if they do something invincible, like a drive reversal that causes that first light to whiff, the super will actually come out in between before your second light comes out and punish. This is some of the top high-level tech that players have started to incorporate into their gameplay, and Micky pulled it off first try, not dropping it. It's not that easy to execute. You have to time it pretty well, and gets the first round over Angry Bird, showing that he came ready to play. And in this same first game, you can see the style that Micky brings to this. Playing the neutral here, gets the late DP on the demon flip, and he goes for the delayed hooligan into the slicer. Hooligan's not supposed to be good. Remember, this move is you see Punk winning EVO 2024 without even hardly using the damn thing. Micky making use of that axe kick ender to punish Angry Bird for crouching. You want to crouch the grab and stand block the slicer. And this time he goes for the OD slicer out of nowhere. Angry Bird this time stands into it, maybe predicting a slicer instead, and he gets grabbed for trouble. And then look at this. Angry Bird does wake up Demon. You can see all of his meter disappear there and the smoke appear. Demon is not invincible until the super flash, so you can throw and hit him out of it. But what it does beat is people blocking to bait a wake up level 3 or wake up DP. So if Micky didn't go for an offensive option, instead blocked, the Demon would have had the startup animation a few frames later and would have grabbed him at that point. So a really cheeky option from Angry Bird. It's basically a 50-50. Do you bait Akuma's wake up level 3 or reversal DP, or do you apply pressure to avoid the demon instead? Micky went for the pressure and threw him out of the demon, but just shows how they're swinging for the fences, both players here. Micky making heavy use of the hooligan shenanigans, and Angry Bird not seeing ready for it on the big stage. And as it goes on, it seems like he's really not ready for Micky's pace at all. We're at set point here. Micky working on a 3-0 over Angry Bird with the air-to-air on the demon to keep the corner control. We have 1 throw. We have 2 throw. He tries to backdash the third, and we have the full combo conversion here from Micky. He's going to get the conversion into the meatless ender. One more touch. The no-move shimmy. Standing in place, crouching in place, and getting the 3-0 with a perfect over Angry Bird. Micky folded up his box. He doesn't want anyone reading his inputs. Just calm as ever. 17, 16 years old here on the big stage, taking it over legends of the Street Fighter 6 scene. Angry Bird eliminated now at 7th place. As we carry on, though, we have Phenom versus Xiaohai, 2 fundamentally solid players, right? There's not too much special, I think, on either side of them in terms of how the flair they bring is just always solid decision-making, risk-reward, reactions, and footsies. Here, Phenom's now at set point over Xiaohai. It's 2-2 apiece, and Xiaohai miscalculates on the confirmation. Goes for a combo route that doesn't work. Maybe he thought the driver's crouch and light kick counter hit or something like that. Either way, whiffs that combo extension, gives Phenom the momentum here. Needs one more interaction to close it out. Gets the drive rush, tick throw, one more final hit, and the shimmy. Xiaohai bites in the end, and Phenom, in his first ever EVO Top 8 appearance, moves on, wins the set, and carries on the run, fighting for that potential EVO championship and, of course, that potential Capcom Cup qualification spot. As we proceed here, we got losers quarterfinals on the other side of the bracket. Fuudo versus Micky. Can anyone stop this kid? This kid is taking out legends left, right, and center in his first EVO Vegas run. Here you see Fuudo has a perfect on the board. Micky has a round as well. And Fuudo finds the heavy punch, hit confirm, drivers cancel. Nice and simple combo into the level 3. And here we see some potential, right? Someone trying to say, hey man, I've been playing fighting games for longer than you've been alive. Micky was literally born in 09. He's literally an 09er. You know, Street Fighter 4 09ers used to be the new kids on the block. Micky is literally born in 09. So Fuudo finally restoring order, it seems, with that first double perfect with his Ed over Micky's Cammy. Well, Micky switches quickly to his Mai that he also has and forces Fuudo off the edge to his DJ after tying up the set, now 1 apiece. And here Micky is on up around here to bring it to a 2-2. Finds the confirmation, gets the full combo into the level 2. Nice and easy. And suddenly, after a character switch on both sides, Micky is up 2-1 over the Blink Respawn champion, EVO 2011 champion, Fuudo. Can he be stopped? Can it be done? Here, Micky is on set point. Fuudo has a round here as well. If he gets this round, he can tie up the set and stay alive. Gets the back sway to bait out the DP from Micky, playing on the young kid's good reaction times. Converts into level 2. That's going to force Micky into burnout. Micky has 0 bars of super, so Fuudo can find a guaranteed stun, but he gets the shimmy for his troubles as well. Now gets the guaranteed stun on that interaction to go to try to capitalize as much damage here as possible. Fully burns himself out, and he just builds the level 2. You know Fuudo got that rhythm. He doesn't drop these with the back fist, the back side swap uppercut. Gets a perfect to bring it to a 2-2. Trying to stop Micky's legendary run here. And here we have final game, a final round between these two players, the new generation and the established veterans. Low drive gauge between them. The fireball bait from Fuudo baits out the reaction level 2. He's going to get a level 2 punish. Going to guarantee a burnout. Put Micky back into the corner. Micky does have 1 bar super, so he can fight back versus a DI option. But Fuudo going to try to milk the pressure here while he can. Gets to the fireball strings. Immediate level 1, and it lands. Now he's out of super. Fuudo can force a burnout, but the anti-air slide doesn't connect, and Micky finds the punish that lets him live and survive this burnout. He was going to be checkmated instead. Now it's a scramble between these two players. They're fighting for the last hit. The shimmy doesn't land, but Fuudo exposes the toes in the end, and the second crouching medium kick takes it. Micky stays alive, taking down yet another EVO champion in Fuudo to move on in this top 8. And Micky, not even phased, man. He's just gonna fold up his box. I guess he's still he's playing on leverless, it looks like, but he still feels the need to hide the inputs, and he just has his headphones in. I wonder what he's listening to. That's the question. I didn't get a chance to ask him. I saw him briefly after EVO. What is Micky listening to while destroying all the legends of the scene one after another? It would be interesting to find out. But now we move on to our winners finals, a run back from EVO Japan Grand Finals, where in this tournament Kakeru actually ended up going to losers very early in EVO Japan to Ryukichi before going on a massive streak, winning, I believe, at least 6 or 7 sets minimum to get back into Grand Finals versus MenaRD there on the winner's side. And in the stare down, we had these two players going at it, giving a little flair for the crowd before going into that Grand Finals, which MenaRD ultimately did win 3-0 in the Blanca JP matchup. And what do we have this time in this showing in winners finals? MenaRD onto the stage here. Throws the bag to the side, approaches his opponent, and we have this stare down at EVO Vegas 2025. Ever the showman is Mena. Kakeru says, hey man, thanks for different this time. When you got me last time, I wasn't the Capcom Cup champ. You might have gotten the EVO, but I got the million. Who's the real winner here? Right, Kakeru, no EVO titles, but has Gamers 8 and Capcom Cup with the $1 million prize pool. MenaRD with 2 EVO Japans. He kind of dwarfs the prize earnings from MenaRD from those two alone. But how does that play out, that intimidation factor in bracket? Well, here we have MenaRD at a quick set point, which means from their last tournament showings, MenaRD is now up 5 games in a row over Kakeru. 1 round away from making that 6 and going to grand finals on winner's side. Kakeru lands a neutral jump and goes for the level 3 conversion. Now, he may have been able to optimize this further with a drive rush extension after the heavy swipe. I'm a little rusty on my JP combo conversions, but either way, he's 1 round away from finally ending that losing streak in terms of games to MenaRD. But MenaRD finds the slide and the activation to the level 2. Kakeru trying to maintain control. Whiffs the parry on the light bonka blow, which was to bait out the whiff parry. Kakeru bit, and MenaRD gets the throw, pushing him closer to the corner. MenaRD keeping up the offensive pressure, trying to make him crack. Goes for the delayed air Blanca ball, but Kakeru gets the punish with the jab. Didn't believe, whiffs the throw, and then ends up eating a command grab over the wake up throw tech. And MenaRD with the comeback prevents Kakeru from breaking the losing streak and goes into grand finals on winner's side. And just to reiterate, all Kakeru had to do in this moment here, he was so caught off guard by blocking the air Blanca ball that he didn't realize he actually got the punish counter. Any second jab, a stand medium kick, any button would have killed him, and this set would be prolonged, and Kakeru would finally have a game on the board in 2 past EVOs over MenaRD. But instead, he goes for the take throw, not expecting the jab to have connected. MenaRD with the awareness, mashing buttons just in case, which is crazy awareness. Like he said, you know what, who knows, he might mess up the punish. Who knows? Gets the full combo conversion from that, which is nuts, and then finds the perfect frame kill to the meaty command grab. What a sequence. The mental fortitude and awareness to know that it's never over till it's over. The fact that MenaRD's playstyle always cranks the mental stack so high that he can potentially anticipate these players at the highest level making these mistakes is crazy. And MenaRD with that punches his ticket into grand finals winner's side. As we move on through the losers bracket, we have Micky up against Phenom, and these two players couldn't be further apart, right? First of all, Phenom's been in every single Capcom Cup for forever, practically. And he's also, like I mentioned many times, just a very dry player. Super solid fundamentals and anti-airs, reads the opponent very well, good risk-reward calculation, but he's not doing hyper offensive strats, and he's not incorporating things like the hooligan that effectively, where Micky seems to be busting out the tech and playing at a really high speed. But here we have both of them at a game and a round apiece. They're trying to go up 2-1 in this set. We have Micky abusing Phenom in the corner. The empty jump baits out the parry, but he knows the fake DI setup after the throw, gets the back throw to swap sides. Phenom lands 1 jump on Micky in burnout, trying to keep his pressure tight. What can he do? They have level 3 each. Another jump on Micky, a 3rd jump on Micky, a 4th jump on Micky, and he finally gets the throw. Phenom, he does know how to jump. He used to be known for being one of the best jumpers in the game in Street Fighter V with his Nikali, which that jump heavy punch was like a pillar coming from the air hitting the ground. But using the threat of Kami dive kick to throw Micky off there and make that comeback in order to take the game and go up 2-1 to finally put this kid in his place. And not just that, they're playing for Capcom Cup qualification here, so the stakes are high. MenaRD and Kakeru are both already qualified for Capcom Cup. MenaRD by winning EVO Japan 2025, and Kakeru by being the reigning Capcom Cup champion. So the Capcom Cup qualification spot goes to whoever wins this set here to move on to losers finals. So that you know that they both really, really want this option here. And so we go into the final game between these players, and here Micky's landing the level 3 on Phenom, up around Phenom on his last legs, has CA, potential for the comeback, checks the fake drive rush pressure with the wake of jab. He's just trying to conserve his bar and conserve his level 3 for the right moment. Gets the reset after the dive kick on Micky. Really fishing for the right moment to potentially bring it all the way back. He's going for the jumps again, smelling that Micky won't be ready, or it's going to allow the jumps to fly just like in the previous comeback. Gets the tick throw this time. Now he knows any touch in level 3 will kill. Micky responds with a jump of his own, forces the burnout with the block string. And then the stare down. They both go for the dive kick, but this time Micky lands it first. And with that, Micky eliminates Phenom and forces Phenom to try again in another way to get into that Capcom Cup qualification, because Micky has earned his spot into Capcom Cup. As you can see here with the high fight, Micky went on losers into round 2 of pool. After that, he beat VX Bao, Taco, Shine, Ending Walker, Torimeshi, Angry Bird, Fuudo, and Phenom. 17-1 in his EVO run. What? I think that's the most number of wins I've ever seen anyone have in any single open bracket tournament. Maybe that might be the record. I'm sure there's a larger record somewhere out there. Please, some Street Fighter stat nerds, let me know. But this is absurd. I've never seen that many set wins required to get into the top 3 position of a bracket ever. So Micky moving on. But now he has the next challenger. He has, of course, Kakeru. And Kakeru is no stranger to crushing kids' dreams. If you recall, with his Capcom Cup victory this last season, he did it over Blaz, the 16-year-old player out of Chile who surprised the world with his ridiculous Ryu gameplay. And he denied him the million, took it from him, the only person to really put a stop to Blaz's run that day. And here Kakeru finds the devilish OD fireball. It's level 2 activation, forces the unblockable hit on Micky. He's burnt out in the corner. And with the spike explosion, secures the double perfect 3-1 over Micky. And Micky is eliminated at 3rd place. But he's not going home without being the crowd favorite.
Here at Evolution.
The crowd was on his side all along. They were cheering for him all along the way. There was the Micky chants going on. He really inspired people with his play, being the young underdog in a top 8 full of storied and legendary players. He managed to do the thing and be the player to cause the most upsets with the stats here from Inkross. He was seed 79 and outperformed his seed by the largest margin, ending in a 3rd place. And with that, he has secured his spot into Capcom Cup. So this won't be the last we see of Micky. He will be returning to Capcom Cup in order to surprise the world maybe once more. And with that, we move on to the grand finals of EVO Vegas 2025. MenaRD up against Kakeru. We have seen that so far, Kakeru has not managed to get a game on MenaRD. Since EVO Japan 2024, it is now a 6-0 record in MenaRD's favor. He was about to change that, but ended up choking in the last game of the winner's final set. Will this time be different? Well, here we are in the first game of Grand Finals. MenaRD with that winner side advantage, pressuring Kakeru in the corner with the level 2. Backdashes to bait out an option. Perfect parry from Kakeru. Gets the jump in combo, but goes for the wrong route. Misses the heavy swipe. No problem. We can try again on the second perfect parry on the Blanco ball. This time he drive rush cancels to stabilize the combo conversion to build some space, set up the zoning pattern. Push MenaRD from full screen. Level 2 still on the side of Mena. He's approaching. He's going in. Drive rush light confirmation. Drops the combo, but Kakeru doesn't get the grounded punish. Perfect parry into the side swap from MenaRD. The mental stack is too much. Kakeru was late on the anti-air, eats the neutral jump, and MenaRD, with his ever ferocious tempo and speed, hunting down Kakeru, forcing him to make these mistakes, goes up another game in a row. Kakeru is now 7-0 in games versus MenaRD in tournament. And in the next game, Kakeru has MenaRD in the corner again, but MenaRD 1 round away from going up to the final potential game of the tournament. Drivers cancel into the command dash to get out of the corner, and the jump in just lands. Kakeru dashes into it, and Amnesia's baited. Nothing is going right for Kakeru in this corner. Jump out of the corner denied. Into the meaty activation to level 2 is going to force the burnout. No super on the side of Kakeru. This is all guaranteed chip into a guaranteed DI. He had to hold that. No recourse in that situation. Goes for the electricity with the Blanca chain to level 1. Gets the pickup. Frame kill, up ball, OD up ball. All guaranteed once he got that burnout. MenaRD optimizes this situation perfectly and goes into the potential final game of the tournament to take his first EVO Vegas championship. And as we approach this final game, seeing the momentum behind MenaRD's run, seeing how dominant he's been so far in his career, it got me thinking back to what really makes a legend. What makes a GOAT? It got me thinking back to players like Alex Valle, who was so strong he became the first American champion and the player to represent us in our first major international showdown. I think back to players like John Choi, who showed the world how to throw a fireball, and to this day still a master of the craft. I think of players like Ryan Hart, whose dominance and legacy span across genre with EVO championships in both 2D and 3D fighting game titles. I think of players like Justin Wong, who was undeniably the GOAT of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and has exerted his dominance across every single fighting game you could possibly think of, and it has the most storied and career that spans the most amount of years, period, potentially. I think the players like Tokido, who's still active to this day as one of the strongest competitors, who taught the world how to play to win since the Street Fighter 2 days, spanning multiple decades at this point, securing EVO championships and being a threat on the global stage with the toughest competition possible. I, of course, think about Daigo, who to many to this day is the GOAT of the FGC, who has inspired players from around the world to always search for a way to have the will to keep winning. And then that brings me to today, to think about MenaRD, who in 2017, as a complete underdog, barely 18 years old, goes on to win the largest prize in fighting game history with Capcom Cup, taking it over that year's EVO champion, Tokido, in grand finals after nearly being eliminated in the reset, bringing it all the way back, and putting his country, the Dominican Republic, on the map as one of the strongest scenes in the world, where previously they had gone nearly unnoticed on the international stage. I then think about how he had a relative slump in the following seasons, where people claimed that MenaRD would never possibly win another title of a similar caliber ever again. And then comes Capcom Cup 2022, the final Capcom Cup for Street Fighter V. MenaRD does it again to become the only two-time Capcom Cup champion, period. And of course, people saw this and they said, you know what? He won because Luke at this time was busted. He switched to top tier. He got it done. Even though people said before he only won because Birdie was busted. He couldn't do it with any other character. Here he goes and does it with a different character. But the goalposts shift again, of course. And then come to Street Fighter 6. People said, oh, you did it in Street Fighter 5, but Street Fighter 6 is a new game. He then goes on to have one of, if not the most dominant seasons in the first season of Street Fighter 6, with a second place finish at EVO Vegas, always placing top 8 in all the premieres available, a Street Fighter League World Championship, and proving that he can do it across different titles as well, not tied to any single character or game. He then goes on to win Red Bull Kumite 2024 in New York. He then goes on to take his first EVO Japan Championship in 2024. He then makes history again by being the only Street Fighter player ever to win back-to-back EVO championships by taking EVO Japan 2025. And here he is, after all is said and done, creating a legacy before our eyes, one round away from taking EVO Vegas 2025. Kakeru fighting to stay alive here, gets sniped out of his dash with the OD. Blanca ball into the cross-up setup. MenaRD secures the hit, confirms all the way. Nice and easy into the level 3. The losing streak continues for Kakeru. That is now a full 9 games straight. MenaRD has done it. With this victory, it is undoubtable to me that we have witnessed the creation of a legend. Time will tell where he ranks amongst all of the greats. The GOAT debate is something that has no real logical answer. We have legends from all eras who competed with the terms and conditions of their time, the restrictions that they had, the competition that they had, paving the way for players to still compete at this level to this day. But I know without a doubt that we have just witnessed the cementing of a legend and the cementing of the legacy of MenaRD. After securing his win, I think MenaRD had the best closing thoughts I could possibly think of, so I'll let the man speak for himself.
Please let the people know exactly what you want them to be looking at when they look at MenaRD, and what message did you send by winning EVO Vegas?
Honestly, that's a great question, but I don't want people to look at what MenaRD did today. I want people to look at what we all did today. Being part of this show, is the biggest privilege of my life. And being able to perform in front of all of you just confirmed to me that we're doing something beautiful. Thank you so much.
By far the answer of a legit, true champion.
Beautiful words from MenaRD there. And I couldn't agree more. I do think we witnessed something beautiful today. EVO always makes me emotional in that sense. And, you know, I care because you guys care. I think that's something we can all appreciate. We care about this together. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.